Football season's here, Joe.
Finally.
First day of training camp. We're at the Dolphins facility. And look, hey, a lot of good things out there. Got to see all the new players and this and that. And I think we saw some different things. Stayed out in the rain. Rained a little bit. They stayed in because of the lightning, threat of lightning.
Yeah.
Once that went out. They went to the practice field. And look, we've done that all. You know that all along. You're going to play in the rain. So you got to practice in the rain.
Boy, like yesterday, you just went Don Shula on me. That's all. We'd be pouring, and your wonder is, hey, is there any chance we could practice later or something? We didn't have any indoor facilities, and he'd go, we're going to be playing in the Orange Bowl. We'll have an advantage. So part of the game.
So as been here yesterday for the guys talking about, had a couple guys coming up, Ingold, and you had a couple other guys come up that talked, Bradley. And some of the leaders in the team, and they were talking about culture. So let's talk a little bit about culture, and you can see the changes a little bit already today in this practice. So let's talk. But let me ask you this: what's your idea of culture, and who sets culture? Is it the coaches, or is it the players?
Well, I'm like you.
Yeah.
We're Don Shula guys. He sets the culture on the structure of what he expects. You get players that will fit it, whether they're really good players. Usually they're your better players on the team, but they're good, solid players. Guys will lead through the good and the bad. And I think that kind of gets you going because, Bo, this team and every other team, and we've been on teams too, you're going to go through highs and lows, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's going, that undefeated thing happened one time.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen a lot. So you go through highs and lows. You hope you have character guys to get through it that stay positive.
Yeah, I think they've got some good character guys. Some of the guys, Deb Waller up here came up and talked, and he's gone through a lot of things in this league, ups and downs, Pro Bowls, troubles coming in, all his different
his own stuff,
his own stuff, his own baggage he's got, and the only thing with a guy like that, I'm looking at him, he looks good, he's physically fit, he went through a tough workout routine, but he's been out for a couple years. And that gap sometimes, when you walk back in that field,
different.
It's hard to close that gap.
This is a hard game to sit out for a year and come back.
Yeah.
First of all, you're going to find out how much you really want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing about football you'll find out because you're going to have days where you're going, do I really want to do this? Do I need to? And then you'll have days where, hey, I miss it and I'm ready to go. But I do like the character of this team.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting here going to rip Jalen Ramsey and stuff, but he's got the guys he thinks he needs.
Yeah.
And if he didn't think you could fit in, you're not here right now. And I think he brought in those kind of guys. Whatever they're making, he wasn't concerned about that. He wanted a certain kind of guy, right to the last guy being Minkah Fitzpatrick in the trade. He's a guy he wanted around.
Yeah. The other thing about character, I think, and look, we went through it, and a lot of teams go through it, is I think character comes from the players from the standpoint of, I want to be in the game with my guys. I want to be in the huddle with my guys. If you're dinged up a little bit or this or that, and say, hey, look, I'm going to play through this because I don't want to let my guys down.
Yeah.
And I think you need to get that camaraderie. And I think that's what they'll try to do this year during training camp, is get some of that, where you're thinking more about the team and the guys around you, sometimes than yourself and how you're feeling about getting on the field.
Well, it's a great point. So this team right now, hey, everything about them's been kind of negative this offseason.
Yeah.
I like what Alec Ingold had to say. Hey, man, it's not about the outside, it's about what we do on the inside. And that needs to be their attitude. Like, we got each other's backs. We'll play hurt for each other.
Yeah.
We'll do whatever it takes because we want to win. We're tired of this. Tua said it more than once. Like, hey, man, are you guys tired of this thing? The narrative that everybody talks about and all that? If you're tired of it, let's do something about it. We can do something about it. Now, health is going to play a part of it. Your key guys staying healthy. But I do like the fact that Mike has made some changes to guide. Now, we'll find out the talent's enough and how quickly the young guys can catch up and fit into the system. But I think Mike realized he had a problem last year, and he did something.
And look, there's a lot of talk about that. It really is the number one question that was asked yesterday, and even today when they met the media. Culture. And I think certainly Mike's got to do something with that. But I think this team, I think they can. You've got guys now that are going to say, let's do a little extra work. Let's stay out on the practice field a little extra. Let's do this. I saw that they're running sprints after practice, which we haven't seen now. Now that's all different.
New.
So that's another step towards that culture. And you'd like to see some of those guys say, hey, when the coaches leave, hey, let's stay and do a little bit more here. And I think you see that on this football team, at least through this first practice. and I think as you talk to these guys. So, I think they're turning the corner on that, and hopefully culture kind of moves. It's funny. I always say the team that wins the Super Bowl, hey man, we had great culture. Now the team that lost the Super Bowl, man, our culture broke down.
Not
so
good.
Culture is, culture can be a lot of things. It's got to be real, and it can't be. You can't just talk about it. You got to do it.
So, one of the things about Mike that we've watched this offseason, I really like. Mike's not afraid to make changes, and I think he's a self-evaluator. He looks at himself. He listens to people that he respects. And I expect that day off for a lot of veterans to out the door, the 2 days off. I think some guys ruined that last year and used it as an excuse. They weren't ready to play. I think that will go away. And he goes, okay, then we'll practice and we'll make sure we get more out of it. Mike's going to make some changes off things that he saw people maybe that he respects in the organization to make some changes and give this thing a chance to have success.
Joe, you know me. I'm a line of scrimmage guy. Both sides, offense, defense. I really like what they did in the offseason. I think getting Daniels in here, the guard is going to be
James Daniels
on the right side with Austin Jackson, and then you got Jonah Savaiinaea. It's going to take me a while to get that name, but Jonah in there with Patrick Paul, who I think Patrick Paul is going to be I think he's going to be a really good player.
You have got the makings.
And Jonah. I'm watching him today, and he's got all the skill. He's got fundamentals, and Butch Berry's going to do a good job with this offensive line, And then you look on the other side, Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, and even Biggins. Well, I look at that line of scrimmage. I'm watching that defensive line, and what you say is, man, they're big in the middle.
Well,
big and strong and stout in the middle. If those guys can hold up, I think that's going to be, to me, that's settled. That would settle the defensive line, the offensive line. Love the linebackers, Dotson, those guys. Love the outside guys. You got Phillips back, and you got Chubb back working with the Chop. I think
that could really complement each other. That group, I agree.
That certainly, to me, is going to be the strength of the team, and I like that.
Well, let's go back to draft for a second. This is the first time in a 7-round draft since it's been around. The Miami Dolphins have drafted 4 guys all over 320 pounds, 1 on offense and 3 defensive tackles. They made it real clear we want to get bigger, stronger, and more physical on the line of scrimmage, not to mention their top veteran free agent, James Daniels, another one of those guys in that big guy category. So they made it some changes. It's got to come together. I'm with you, though. I like Austin as a coach on the defensive line. I think he does a great I like this coaching staff. And Mike's added some more. I think this part of this thing is Mike's not afraid to go out and get guys and add guys. If he thinks they can add something, like this problem that we couldn't throw the ball down the field. I think that's been a priority this offseason with all those guys in the passing game coming up with stuff that they can do. It is so important for the quarterback and the 2 wide receivers, Waddle and, of course, Tyreek Hill. That's where our money's been spent. We got to get that production back down the field.
Yeah, and I think both of them, ego-wise, I know Tyreek,
by the way,
talked about it yesterday.
Said all the great things.
2,000's a goal, but I'd rather have us win football games and get that. But I still like that number. But so and I think I think he's seen what people have thought about him from end of last season to now, and I think it kind of got into his head, and he wants to be better. And so I think that and then Waddle's going to just do. He's going to have to play off of Tyreek, but I think he's going to have a bounce back year.
Bigger than 700 and something yards. I agree.
So look, Tua, we can talk Tua all day. We'll talk Tua as we go along during the preseason. We'll do a number of these shows during the preseason. There's one small change in there that no one ever talks about, especially right now. The special teams coordinator, Danny Crossman. I hope he's doing something, doing well. But he should have been gone 3 years ago. I mean that's and so to me, you improve that special teams. Look, it's a 3-pronged game. It's offense, defense, and everyone forgets about special teams until the field goal kicker makes a kick. Some guy runs a punt back on you. Then you feel the pain of it. But each and every week, in and out, you got to have a great special teams player. And so I hope the new coach that came in is going to adhere to that. And I think they're going to
start with Jason Sanders.
Yeah,
it's a good start there. But I agree, field position and what things you can do on special teams are going to be really important. Hey, expectations aren't that high.
No.
What they've been the last couple of years, not even close to it. I just hope these guys take that to heart and it motivates them every day because it's really up to them and playing in a system
Look,
on both sides.
I'd
get
be
it done.
pissed. I'd be pissed if I've listened to or saw. And don't tell me these guys, oh, I don't read it, I don't see it. No. You hear it from somebody when you go to the grocery store.
Right.
Someone, oh, do you hear what this guy said? Do you hear what that guy? They've heard it and they've let it gnaw at them for 6 months now. Now's the time for them to get back and do what they do and
No
look,
question.
wipe them off the map, and we'll do what we do and,
Yeah.
and be it to you. But it's got to come together. And look, it's the first day, and look, it's excitement. It's exciting being out
Hey,
there.
I love listening to guys'
It's-
interviews
yeah.
yesterday. And Bo, you talked about a little bit, not to cut you off, Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
What Tyreek had to say was so refreshing, man. Taking responsibility, saying, I want to be here. I have regrets about what I did at the end of he covered everything like he was checking them off going down. And man, I got to tell you, I'm going to believe in him because we need him. And he sold me. Now we got to see
Well,
it.
he talked about it. He got to be better than Justin Jefferson, so
Yeah.
his kid becomes a fan.
That's right.
A fan
What's
of
my
him.
jersey again? Exactly.
Yeah, good stuff. So, hey, look, so we're going to be here. We'll be doing this a couple times a week, 2-3 times a week, and just kind of giving you an update.
We're out here all
on
the
training
time. We
camp.
might
We'll
as
be here
well.
all the time and do that. Hey, you know that go to our website, outthepasturepodcast.com. You can get us on YouTube. You can get us on Spotify, iHeartPod, wherever you get your podcast. Go in, subscribe, but check us out on our website, outthepasturepodcast.com. You can see all the podcasts that we've got going on. So we're going to leave training camp right now, and unlike these guys are going to go look at in meetings and stuff, I'm going to go get some lunch.
I am. And I'm going to go hang out with grandkids.
There you go. We'll see you next time.